The first pose we're going to be running through today is easy pose or Sukhasana. Now the setup, we want to bring ourselves into a seated position, finding a tall but relaxed spine. We want to gently cross our legs, opening up through the chest, and you can just rest your hands either on your knees or wherever is comfortable for you. Now easy pose is an uncomplicated and therapeutic pose. It can calm the mind, can reduce stress and anxiety. Some of the benefits, it does strengthen the muscles in the back, which just takes some tension off the ligaments and can improve posture. It gently opens the hips as well. And a lot of that muscle pain is associated with a general weakness of muscles in whichever area. So by strengthening them, we can alleviate that pain. A progression for easy pose is a forward fold bend. So you gently walk the hands out in front, lowering the chest down to the ground, trying to maintain that straight spine. And that is easy pose. The next pose we'll be running through is Hero's Pose or Virasana. Set up for Hero's Pose, we want to find a kneeling position, find a strong upright torso. The knees are glued and we want to separate the feet slightly wider than hip distance. Our sit bones are resting between the heels. And finding a comfortable position, we're going to start by pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. And as the muscles relax, just try and let the sit bones sink a little deeper towards the floor here. We do have some progressions and modifications. So starting with modifications, we can use our blocks or a cushion, whatever you have at home, as long as it offers some stability and comfort. So just placing those ones underneath the sit bones, you can gradually remove them as you sink a little deeper into that pose. A progression, we can start to move into that reclined Hero's Pose. You can start by walking the hands back behind, still trying to maintain that nice straight spine, and you can eventually come into that full recline. So lying all the way on your back, still keeping those knees glued. You can bring a hand to the chest, one hand to the belly, connect with your breath, arms out wide for a nice chest opening stretch, whatever is comfortable for you. So not only does this pose stretch the hips, the quads and the ankles, it does encourage that internal rotation of the hips. So that just results in that better mobility and flexibility of the joints. Cat-cow pose. With our setup, we want to find a 4-point kneel and a neutral spine. So keeping it nice and flat, we do want to gently draw the belly button up to the spine. And we're going to start with our inhale. So we're going to tuck the toes and start to arch the back, sinking the belly down towards the mat. On your exhale, you're going to untuck the toes, pressing the palms and the tops of the feet into the mat as you round the spine up to the ceiling. Now you can take these ones at your own pace. We generally want to repeat these for 5 to 10 breath cycles. If it does feel better, you can keep the feet flat, so you can just get rid of that tuck of the toes. Some of the benefits, this dynamic pose combo has endless benefits on the mind and body. So it's a balancing pose that helps strengthen the arms, legs and abdominal muscles. Also it helps develop that postural awareness within the body. Due to the flowy state, cat-cow helps to clear energy blockages as well within the body. It strengthens the nervous system, and so that just better helps with handling stress within our lives. Another benefit, the spine, I guess being the foundation of the body, it is a channel through which the brain influences the body. So controlling movement and correct organ function. So just by coordinating this movement with our breath, we're naturally regulating the body and calming the mind. The next pose we'll be working through is downward dog. So set up from all fours. We're going to tuck the toes under, pressing the palms into the mat, at the same time lifting the hips, drawing that tailbone towards the sky. So try and ground the heels into the mat. So try and bring them flat. We want to keep the arms and shoulders nice and strong and engaged, just to avoid collapsing the integrity of this pose. We don't want to dump any weight into the upper body. So again, with down dog, we want to hold for about 5 breath cycles. From here, finding that comfortable position, allow the spine and legs to just lengthen. Now, if you have tight hamstrings, you can take a slight bend through the knees. Another modification is you can take a pedal, so bending one knee at a time, again, coordinating with your breath. The benefits of downward dog: it stretches the spine, the hips, and mainly the hamstrings, so the back of your legs, as well as a general strengthening through the upper body. And that is down dog. One of my favorites, dangling pose, or Baddha Hasta Uttanasana. So set up from standing or down dog. We either walk the hands up to the feet if coming from down dog. If you're standing, we're just going to gently start to roll the spine down, one vertebrae at a time. Just allow the torso to hang heavy. Hands are going to reach for the opposite elbows, and you are welcome to keep a soft bend in the knees, again, if you've got that tightness in the hamstrings. So we're going to gently draw the belly up, keeping the core slightly engaged, and that just protects the lower spine as the torso hangs heavy. You can add some sways from side to side once you're in that dangling position. Some of the benefits: it stretches through that lower spine, it does loosen the hamstrings while also gently engaging the quads. That compression through the stomach acts as internal massage for the abdominal organs. For women, it can alleviate those menstrual cramps as well. So, dangling pose. Next up is caterpillar pose. Caterpillar pose is very much a cool down pose. You come into a seated position, extending the legs out just in front of you. You're going to bring the knees up, so just slight bend, toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to start by gently lowering the chest to the thighs, so you can rest the head on the knees. Arms are just going to come long down, either onto your feet as that gentle kind of pull, or they can just come down onto the floor beside your feet. So caterpillar pose is another restorative pose just for relaxing that full upper body. It does lengthen and stretch through the back and the hips. This pose stimulates the kidneys and the bladder as well, so working all the internal organs. It works the deeper tissues and tendons that surround the spine and abdomen. We do want to keep a gentle engagement of the hips, encouraging that internal rotation. Try and keep the sit bones grounded equally just to support that spine. Shoulders again drawing away from each other as you take that rollover. So use that exhale. You can take this one into that full forward bend, so fully lengthening and straightening those legs. The next pose is our garland pose, or malasana. Now, garland pose is a deep squat where we're pushing the sit bones down towards the floor. So with our setup, our feet are firmly grounded into the mat. We're taking those thighs wide, so feet are slightly externally rotated. So sit bones pushing towards the ground, spine lifted from the base. Shoulders are engaged and rolling back and away from the ears. We're going to bring the hands to prayer, and modifications. As you can see, I've shown the use of 2 blocks. You can use that support cushion or whatever you have around home. And again, just gradually remove them as your body relaxes. Definitely don't push yourself into any uncomfortable position. Don't force yourself into this pose. Now, we do want to keep a slight engagement of the glutes, the hip flexors, and the hamstrings. We're gently drawing up through that pelvic floor. And we also want to draw the belly in just gently to support the lower back through that movement. So just use your breath, take your time, and enjoy the garland pose. Another one of my favorites, we are going to be working through our bound angle pose, sometimes called the butterfly pose. So bound angle is a hip opener, which strengthens our groin, abductors, so the inner thighs. It works our knees, our hip flexors, and it does strengthen that pelvic floor with that gentle activation. So finding that seated position, sit bones melted into the floor, taking the knees wide and gluing the soles of the feet. I'm going to bring the hands to the toes or the ankles and that tall, relaxed spine again. And we're using our breath to allow the muscles to relax and loosen, and essentially trying to let the knees drop down towards the floor. Just opening through those hips. Otherwise, you can draw the heels in towards the body just a little bit more. So this one decompresses the spine, as the hips and lower back are where we generally accumulate stress and negative energy. This pose can aid in relaxing. The next pose we'll be working through is our Sphinx pose. So we're going to come find a lying position on our belly, and we're going to come rest on the elbows. So elbows are either directly under the shoulders here. If that does produce too much of an intense back bend, you can slide them slightly forward, so just in front of the shoulders. We do want to keep a gentle activation of that lower body, so we're allowing the hip bones to melt into the mat, and we're just pressing the thighs and the tops of the feet into the floor as well. A progression for this one is moving into that seal pose, so we just extend the arms completely. Due to the intensity of that back bend, I wouldn't recommend holding for any longer than a minute before gently coming back down onto those elbows. So guide that awareness to your breath, where it's sending it up, expanding through the chest, and just allow that belly to sink down into the mat as you exhale. So Sphinx pose is a back bend, so it stretches and releases the lower back, the glutes and the hips. It does also encourage that slight external rotation of the hips as well. Another beginner-friendly pose is our mermaid stretch. So we're going to start by bringing our legs into a figure Z. So off to one side, one leg is bent in front, the other comes off to the side. Now we're finding that tall, relaxed spine again. Grabbing the arm to the opposite side of your legs. We're going to start by lowering that forearm into the ground directly beside us, so moving into that side bend. The other arm is going to sweep out nice and wide all the way up to the ceiling and all the way over to the other side with that other arm. So just producing that long side bend through the body. And you can hold this one for 5 breath cycles, however long you need. Our progression here is our spinal twist. So you can lower that sky arm down and also plant that forearm into the mat as well. And it does just take that twist through the obliques and through the upper body. Again, keep that breath nice and relaxed. Just untwist when you're ready to release. Back up to the ceiling and down to the side, bringing your spine back up to neutral. Be sure to repeat on the other side, so bring the legs over to the opposite side and side bend back into your mermaid. The next pose we'll be working on is camel pose, using the variation hands on the floor. Now this is a slightly more intense pose, still beginner friendly. With our setup, we're going to bring our arms behind us, stacked under the shoulders. Now our fingers are pointing away from our body, bringing the chin to chest. We're going to start to lean back, so transfer that weight onto the wrist. Extend the arms long, and we're going to press into the knees and shins, taking that gentle back bend. So your chest should be up towards the sky. We do want to keep a gentle engagement of the lower belly, and think of really reaching the tailbone towards the knees. So camel pose provides spinal flexibility as well as strengthening the spine. It does enhance digestion as well. It's a deep chest opener. It does stretch the shoulders, but due to that chest opening, it does stimulate the heart and lungs as well. So that just improves that respiratory function and that circulation within the body.